What's going on? Y'all know what time it is. Some brothers got next. Man, Kwab, we getting close to that 100th episode, bro. This is episode 99.
One more. We got some things cooking.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, man. But I'm really pumped for this week. Got a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, some big news today out of the NFL. Breaking news.
Mm-hmm. And we're recording this show on a Tuesday, by the way.
Correct.
So,
right.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I'm sure a lot of you heard, sports fans have heard, Robert Saleh was fired as the New York Jets head coach. So what I'm going to do right now, which I normally don't do, I'm going to lay out some context. And then I'm going to go to my partner for the reaction because I really want him to hear how everything was laid out, how everything happened, and then what kind of the state the Jets are in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start with this. So obviously Robert Saleh was fired, right? Now it's reported that Woody Johnson and Aaron Rodgers talked last night. Apparently, there was no mention of Robert Saleh getting fired, though.
Mm-hmm.
That Woody Johnson just called Aaron to congratulate him on that record he broke on Sunday and to tell him, hey, you know, you're about the team and you're doing a great job. Which I think, I'm going to let you respond later, but which I think is total BS. I mean, we all know Woody Johnson called Aaron Rodgers to tell him, we're going to let go Robert Saleh.
Yeah, of course.
Don't give me that BS that you called him to congratulate him on some record we don't care about.
No, because also they're not playing well, so I don't think he cares about
the
any
night
record.
Before the guy gets fired, you called him to congratulate him on a record that nobody cares about, and then the next day you fire the head coach without saying anything to Aaron Rodgers on the phone. Okay, so that's one thing. It was also reported that Robert Saleh was escorted out the building today, which we're going to get to that as well because it's reported that when Adam Gase was fired, that did not happen. That when he was fired, he was allowed to address the team and then leave, collecting his things and leave the building. Apparently, they escorted him out the building. He wasn't even allowed to address the team. So we're going to get to that. Then it's also reported that they were supposed to considering firing Nathaniel Hackett before they considered firing Robert Saleh. So here's what I want you to answer, Kwab. This is why I want you to make it make sense, right? Well, first of all, the New York Jets have had 5 coaches in 11 years. 5 coaches in 11 years, okay? So I'm gonna give you some stats here. The Jets on defense are second in the league in defense. So obviously the head coach's side of the ball is not the problem. At least we can come to that agreement, correct? On offense, the Jets are 27th in offense. Aaron Rodgers has a QBR of 49.7, a 0.1. So, Kwab, make it make sense to me how you fire the head coach whose side of the ball is second in the league.
Yeah. And
you don't fire Nathaniel Hackett, who's 27th in offense, and his quarterback is less than 50 of a QBR.
Yeah.
Make that make sense to me.
Well, the rumor is that Saleh was going to fire Hackett this morning.
Right.
Yeah, like you had mentioned that.
Right.
So I just find it ironic that he goes to the office and he gets told that he's fired. And then my whole thing is you do it on a Tuesday. I'm like, well, okay, why couldn't this have been handled yesterday when he didn't have to come to the office? Why do you have to wait till he comes there? Like, you could have handled this early on. There's a reason they call it Black Monday, especially usually after the NFL season, they usually call it Black Monday.
Right, correct.
Day after, unless like Woody Johnson was just kind of like thinking about it. But my whole thing is, either way, you can't let this man speak to the players. Like, he's been there for a few years. Like, you can't at least give him that level of respect. And then, don't you think it's a little bit excessive? Come on, man, we're gonna call security to escort him out. Like, what do they think he's gonna, cause a scene or something? Like, I have no respect for that organization. I think they did a terrible job managing that whole situation. I think a lot of blame doesn't go to Aaron Rodgers, who is not playing well. This is He got the coordinator he wanted. He got Adam Lazard, who he wanted. He's probably going to get Devontae Adams, who he also wants, and it's still going to equate to them being below average. I saw an interesting stat that the 2023 season with Zach Wilson, they started the season 2-3 as well. They scored exactly 93 points. You know what their record is right now? They're 2-3. You know how many points they scored?
93.
So they're and you got to remember, their 2 wins are against 2 of the worst teams in the NFL, against the Patriots and the Titans. So Look, unfortunately, in this business, we know regardless of what your side of the ball is as a head coach, if your team overall is not playing well, you're going to be the first one they look at. So
Right.
yeah, I understand Salah's not an offensive guy, but like he's still expected to get results from that side of the ball. I don't, even if it's not his level of expertise, because he has the ability to change the staff. Of course, he didn't get a chance to do that.
Right. Well, it sounds like he was trying to do that.
Well, Nathaniel Hackett should have never. The problem is they let Rodgers dictate these things. Like,
But that's what I was going to get to. Why would you let a 40-year-old quarterback who might not even play next year control your organization, make decisions behind the scenes? Like, I'm really not understanding. Like, first of all, Aaron Rodgers was hurt all last year. This guy really hasn't been good in. Let's keep it honest here.
It's been a while.
He hasn't been good in really like 3 years.
Because he wasn't good his last year in Green Bay, obviously.
Exactly. So you're talking about 3 years ago that he was an elite quarterback, and you're making him make decisions or letting him make decisions behind the scenes with coaching and player personnel.
And the thing is, even the Patriots with Brady didn't really do that, because remember, Belichick was also the GM, so like they weren't letting Brady dictate who his coordinator was.
We appreciate organizations like yours, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, the New England Patriots, the Kansas City Chiefs. This is what happens when you have a competent organization.
The
players. You don't. It's the old saying: you don't let the prisoners run the asylum.
Yeah, the Jets are dysfunctional. They've been dysfunctional since we've known each other.
Right,
they haven't made the playoffs since 2010. They have the longest streak in the NFL.
Playoff drought. Right.
So this is just a reflection of that. And you know what's going to happen? They'll probably end up getting Devontae Adams. Okay, they're still going to struggle because their O-line's not good. Mm-hmm. They don't have a good coordinator. So
I don't say the quarterback's not good either. At least right now. I mean, he's not. Come on,
he hasn't been. He hasn't been good in a while.
Aaron Rodgers fans saying, "Oh well, he's coming back from injury. You got to give him some time." No, Aaron Rodgers is done. He's not good anymore. Jet fans need to realize that. And if you hear New York radio, we're in the DMV area. If you hear New York radio talk, the fans are not stupid. They're seeing it too. That he's 100 years old and it's done. He's not.
And you're not going to fool the New York media. Like they're not going to be like, "Oh well." They're very impatient because they've been losing for so long.
So now, I don't get. Again, I understand what your standpoint is. That okay, Saleh is the head coach, and even if his side of the ball is good, he still has to rectify.
And he has to make sure the whole team is good. Yeah,
right. Exactly. I get that. But the Jets have allowed 26 points in 2 games. You know that, right?
The defense has been playing really well.
Second in the league. Mm-hmm. So obviously that's not the problem. So we can't look at the Jets and say, well, hey, the D isn't good. It's on the offensive side of the ball. Now I understand that Saleh's not an offensive-minded coach. But if you allowed him this morning, before you fired him, to make the change and say, look, Nathaniel Hackett, who we all knew wasn't good. He wasn't good as a head coach. And he was overrated as an
coordinator. Yeah,
because he had Aaron Rodgers in his prime. So
see what the problem is, though. They're trying to make Aaron Rodgers happy. Firing Nathaniel Hackett probably wouldn't have made him happy, because him and Saleh, let's just keep it real. They've had little weird little situations going on between them two. So I don't think he was a fan of Robert Saleh.
I get that, but why you're catering to.
Because he's a diva quarterback.
I understand that, but you're catering to a 40-year-old quarterback that may not even be there next year.
Right, and that's not
your future. He's not the future. We know that. Aaron Rodgers is not the future of the Jets. Let's just keep it honest.
You think Aaron Rodgers would come to Pittsburgh and be like, "I want this guy as my OC"? They'd be like, "The hell out of here!"
Right. You're not doing that with the Patriots. You're not doing that with the Chiefs.
No.
You know what I mean? You're not doing.
You do what they say. You run the plays that I'm not saying you can't audible out of plays, but you do what they say you do. That's what
exactly.
I believe that's what good organizations do.
Yeah, and it was also reported now his last year in Green Bay that he wanted LaFleur out, but they were like, no. You're out of here, bro.
Well, LaFleur is proving to be one of the best coaches.
Exactly,
in the NFL.
He's kind of proving right. And let's be. I mean, look. Say what you want about Mike McCarthy. He's a great regular season coach. You know,
he's won a lot. Him and Mike Tomlin have a pretty similar win percentage on the regular season.
So Aaron Rodgers said that Mike McCarthy was one of the worst coaches he's ever had. Blah blah blah. But this guy has gone out in 3 straight seasons with the Cowboys and made the playoffs. Now, yeah, he only has one playoff win.
Right. And people have their problems with McCarthy. He's not a perfect coach.
I'm not saying he's a perfect thing, but to Aaron to say, he's, one of the worst coaches, come on. You were the problem, dude. You need to look yourself in the mirror. You're the problem. Because everywhere you go, this has happened. Green Bay, you're at the Jets now. You're probably not going to get another shot anywhere else.
And it's always going to be somebody else's fault. It's not going to be. So what happens now when they keep losing games? And what are they going to blame now? Oh, well, we told you our O-line's not good anyway, so it's an O-line issue. Bro, you went to the Jets knowing they didn't have a good O-line. Like, we've known that before you got there. That was so. I don't want to hear the excuses now. Like, oh, well, I don't have a good O-line. Like, nah, man, you got to play better. Like, did you see some of those interceptions he threw against the Vikings?
Yeah, I watched it. I saw the whole game.
Oh, it's like
when that was returned for a touchdown. I mean, I don't know what he was doing there.
Yeah, Van Ginkel one, and then the deep ball one. Well, one of them was like towards the end. Well, on the final drive, they had a chance to win the game,
right?
Or tie the game, I believe. So once again, like I want to hear more criticism about that. Like, it's not Robert Saleh's fault. Rodgers threw terrible interception. Right.
It's not Robert Saleh's fault.
No, Robert Saleh it's been rough with the Jets. It hasn't gone very well.
Let's keep it 100 though, Kwab. Their GM is also not good. Joe Douglas is not good.
Oh no,
he's terrible. On a quarterback. He whiffed on that left tackle. You've given Robert Saleh nothing. He's had no quarterback. It'd be different if you gave him a competent quarterback or somebody that's like, okay, that can run the offense. The offense has been, let's just say, even middle of the pack. Dude, they've been like in the 20s, 30s since he's been there on offense because they have no quarterback.
And even though Rodgers is like, let's be real, I mean, he's more competent than like a Zach Wilson is.
Right.
But once again, you're talking about a dude that's in his 18th year, way past his prime. He still has arm talent. Like, yeah, he's still going to make some throws, and you're like, ooh, well, yeah, he's one of the all-time greats. We can't deny that about Rodgers. But what about his pocket awareness? What about, when they're trailing? And I've never been a fan of Rodgers when his teams are trailing, even in Green Bay when he was.
He has the worst body language too.
I think Rodgers has always been a front runner. I think when things are going great, he's the man. He'll throw 5 touchdowns.
Right.
Now, if we've seen Mahomes be down. Mahomes is down every week. They're always down now. They'll be down 10-0. We've seen them down 24-0 against the Texans in KC.
Right.
If you're up 24-0 against Aaron Rodgers, most quarterbacks, to be fair.
Right.
I feel like if you get a 10, 12 point, 14 point lead on Rodgers, you'll be fine. And I've always thought that about him. Always.
Right. So. The thing I've never understood too is that I'm not a big fan of him personally, like as a person.
No, he's a different cat, man.
He has a
he's a different cat.
So, like, for instance, forget off the field. I'm talking about on the field, like just his body language. You see when things go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell when they're losing a game how his body language is. And one thing that the QBs I'm about to mention that everybody criticizes, Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, the one thing I've always said about them, and I criticize them too, is that you don't know what the score is from their body language in the middle of a game. You don't know if they're trailing by 20 or
that's what I always liked about Eli Manning too. He had the same personality.
Same personality. They didn't change the body language. I mean, you didn't know what the score was. You didn't know what, who's winning or not. It was very even keel. And Rodgers, you instantly know when they're losing. You know what I mean? Or like I said, instantly when they're winning. You don't.
Now you can also say the same thing about Brady. Brady was a very fiery dude, especially when they were down. But the difference to me is Brady has the resume. Like, Brady has been there, done it. What you
didn't bring up with Brady is that Brady would also address the players or coach in their face. He would have that fiery exchange.
Right.
Rodgers is passive aggressive. He goes to the sideline, pouts, won't talk to anybody. Doesn't want anybody to talk.
He won't even throw to certain receivers after a while.
Right, exactly. Brady's not doing that. Brady's like, hey, you got to play better. I'm going to get in your face. Or the coach, hey, you got to call better calls. Rodgers is not doing that. Rodgers is, if they're losing and he doesn't like calls, he's going to go to the sideline, be by himself, sit down, not talk to anybody, go back out there, right, and either change a play or he's going to, not throw to a certain receiver.
Just go rogue.
Pretty much, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But they're a mess. But these are the Jets, man. It's like, and I made the mistake. And look, the season's still early. The Bills have actually not been playing that well recently. I'm not saying that the Jets, like, I still like their chances of winning the East, but that division is not very strong. We know the Dolphins aren't good. We know
another thing too is why fire him now? So here's the thing: if they win Monday night against the Bills, they actually will be in first place.
Yeah, that division is still up for grabs.
My thing is you're firing a coach where the next game, if you win it, right, as you just mentioned, the Bills are not playing well right now. Mm-hmm. They've lost 2 in a row.
Right.
You're gonna fire him when he can possibly go you be in first place. I understand the record. Okay, you be 3-3. All right, whatever. But you'll be in first place in the division if you win that game. So you fire him now and you go with the interim coach, the defensive coordinator, Coach Ulbrich. I mean, and
at least they didn't make it Hackett.
Thank God, I know. But to your point, what happens if they keep losing or they rattle off another losing streak? So who's to blame then? You can't blame Saleh. He's not in the building anymore. So who's to blame then? And let's just say, for the sake of argument, the Jets' defense continues to be top 5, and their offense continues to be bottom. So whose fault is that?
It's a good question. And I find another thing interesting that Robert Saleh's record is 20-36 as Jets head coach, right?
Right.
So you do the math before this season because they've won 2 games. So that means they were 18-34 before this, or 18-33. He was 18-33 before this season. Yes. So you mean to tell me that all these years that Saleh was there, he had no quarterback, all those games, all of a sudden we at least think he has one, and you fire him? Like, you don't even give him a full season with a decent quarterback? It's just like, come on, Jets, what are you doing?
But it's just, like I said, back to your point. I mean, these are the Jets. This is why they're one of the worst organizations in sports.
It's like the Browns.
And it starts at the top. I've never been
the Jets or the Browns. So which organization's worse?
Well, I think the Browns are in the worst situation. We'll talk about that later.
Ooh,
Browns are definitely
those rough times. I might still say the Browns, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's the Browns. Yeah. It's the Browns. No, the Browns are in that situation is not good.
That's a rough one.
Yeah, that's a rough one. But it starts at the top, man. I've never been a Woody Johnson guy. Yeah. Listen, I'm in New York. I'm from New York. I've never been a Jets fan, but obviously living there,
right?
You can't. The teams are there. You follow everything that's going on. I mean, they've been notorious since I've been growing up in New York. The Jets have been synonymous and notorious with losing.
Yeah,
the Giants were always the team getting the trophies, winning, going to the playoffs, winning Super Bowls. The Jets, since I've been, I think, born. I mean, they went away Namath in the 70s, and
I think it was the 60s.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's even worse. So since I've been, following football, they've never really been good. Now they've had some years.
Yeah, there were some years like they got to the title game 2 years in a row.
Rex Ryan and Parcells.
Even those teams kind of like overachieved. We were kind of like, oh wow, okay. They weren't like dope all year. They didn't look good sometimes. Like, they still don't look good.
First of all, one year they made it to the thing. They were like 9-7. I'm like, yeah.
Now their defense with Rex Ryan was always on point.
Always on point. That's one thing I would say with the Jets. The D is normally they've always had good defensive players.
Yeah, they're usually good defensively. The Jets are historically pretty good defensively.
Right. But that offensive side of the ball?
No. They ain't been good on O since like Pennington. And they were like cool. They've never had like a high flying offense. Like, the Jets average like 30 points a game. Like, I remember the Cowboys last season, for example, averaged like 30 a game, like 30 points a game.
Right.
Even the Steelers with like Big Ben, AB, they were averaging like 20. The Jets never have like, the Jets are, they dropped like 50. No, never. Jets don't do that. That's not a Jet thing.
Yeah, but like you said, man, they're a mess. I want to say I'm not really surprised because like I said, starts at the top. Woody Johnson is a horrible owner. They're a horrible organization. It's
they
like
need a whole restructure.
They're going to find a way to mess this up.
They need a whole restructure. They need like what the Commanders did. Like, just blow it all up.
I agree.
Just start all over.
I agree.
Draft another quarterback. Just blow the whole thing up, man. It's a wrap.
I agree.
Unfortunately, in sports, you can't really get rid of owners.
Right.
So that's not going to change, but get a new GM.
I'll give you 2 quick questions before we move on. Do you think they still get Devontae Adams, and who do you think are the candidates who would want that job as the head coach going into next year?
Well, there's always for me, I'm the type of person that if there's an opportunity out there, I'm not going to say no because of the history of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
So I would still look at it as a great opportunity. I mean, look at I remember when, now not to say that this organization wasn't in a really rough spot, but the Texans, for example, before D'Amico Ryans took that job, that
Right,
wasn't considered an attractive gig.
right,
But
right.
he played there. He was a really good player there. They really welcomed him with open arms. Remember, they had that weird like Lovey Smith. Remember, they hired him for like a
Oh
year.
yeah, yeah,
Then that I'm forgetting his name. Like he was like an older brother. They hired for like
yeah, yeah.
oh, why am I
Got his
forgetting his
name.
name? Yeah, but they had a weird little phase there. So they kind of pressed the reset button. They brought in a former player. I don't even care if they weren't good last year. They were going to be patient. I believe they were going to be patient with D'Amico Ryan. D'Amico Ryan should be their coach there for the next 15 years. Like, I hope he is. He needs to be the Tomlin in Houston.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
I say all that to say, if there's an opportunity, I would always recommend hopping on it, even if the front office is a bit dysfunctional. Because if you can turn that around, I mean, that's really going to be great for your coaching legacy. So, there's always going to be your typical names going around, whether it's the Lions offensive coordinator who said no to a couple of jobs over the years.
Right. No, I guess I was actually more like, who do you think the candidates? Like, there's been reports. I know it's early, but of course, all these media outlets are, it's speculation, but Belichick has come up, Mike Vrabel,
right, and that's why I brought up.
They go after Ben Johnson, who you just mentioned.
That's why I'm bringing that up. I think
Yeah.
it'll be a younger guy because, like, I don't see Belichick going there. I don't see that blend with him and Woody Johnson. I don't really see that, and then he'll have to go against the Patriots twice a year. I mean, like, I think Belichick is more likely to wait for a gig not in that division,
Right.
or even in the NFC. I just, and nobody knows how much of a mess the Jets. Remember, and Belichick hates the Jets.
He does.
He's not gonna. He'd probably go there and like try to sabotage the Jets from the inside. That's how much.
What you gotta do is make him control the personnel. You see how that turned out with the Patriots.
Yeah, no, he definitely shouldn't be GM. That's for
exactly.
Sure. He's a great coach, but yeah. So
yeah,
I've had enough talking about the Jets.
Yeah, probably the most we ever talked about the Jets on this show. Yeah, but moving on, man. Obviously, the Sunday night game, Cowboys, Steelers, both our teams. Look, like I said before we got on, I told Kwab I'm not going to boast. We didn't really look good. We didn't play well. Now, I will say at the end, they showed a lot of grit and heart.
Oh, for sure. I remember you texted me thinking the game was going to be over.
For what they had up against. I mean, first of all, you're in Pittsburgh, one of the best crowds in the NFL, hostile environment. You're probably going against the best defense in the league. You don't have your probably your two best defensive players in Micah Parsons and DeMarcus.
I mean, your D-line. You don't have your D-line pretty much.
Yeah, you don't have your D-line. You have no Brandon Cooks. You still have no Bland. I think they were using the third corner because Jordan Lewis had to move over to starting, and then I forgot the guy's name. I know he's number 27, who was like the nickel corner. I had never heard of him. I know he's out of Penn State. So I'll give the Cowboys that they showed a lot of heart and grit that I didn't. I think I texted you and I said, normally we don't win games like this. This is when they normally fold.
And normally the Steelers do win games like that.
Correct. Because matter of fact, some of those games, if you remember in the past, like have come down to the last position. Like I don't know if you remember when Testaverde fumbled the snap.
That was Roethlisberger's rookie year. Every time.
All he had to do was run the clock out. He fumbles the snap. You guys get the ball, kick the game-winning field goal. Then I remember the year that Tony Romo was there. We were driving, had a chance to take the lead, picked the Shea Townsend.
Yep.
So in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is just history repeating itself. Like when Rico Dowdle fumbled, I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I give Dak credit for, because most quarterbacks don't dive on the ball like that. So,
that's Cam Newton. I know.
Right. They were comparing it to, after that. But, man, I give Dak a lot of credit because he didn't play well. I mean, that interception to CD in the end zone was horrible.
Yeah, that was bad.
It was bad. The long ball
to Joey Porter Jr.
About that because it looks like Tolbert had a beat and then Joey Porter Jr. just pretty much, he made a good play.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, it's impressive that both of your starting corners each had picks.
I like the Steelers' corners right now.
They are, yeah. Mm-hmm. But give Dak credit, because he had 3 turnovers from by himself. He came in through an end. He came through clutch. So I don't want to hear people now say, "Oh, Dak can't win big games." He
Well, I
can't
don't want to hear you say that. Let's start with you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. 'Cause I'm guilty of that.
Well, you during that game.
You still have to do it in the playoffs, though. You still have to do it.
We're talking regular season. During that drive, I remember you saying we're going to find a way to lose, and I don't blame you for feeling that way. I get it, and I'm not going to lie to you. I was extremely confident. I'm like, this is Steelers defense. We're at home. It's 4th and goal. Come on now. It's going to be a TJ strip sack or an incompletion.
Right.
And yeah, it's been a consistency, unfortunately, with the last few weeks with the Steelers defense. While it's good, they've been allowing a lot of 3rd down conversions. I mean, against the Cowboys, they were 9 for 15. The week before that, against the Colts, 8 for 15. So, their bread and butter on defense is to get off the field on 3rd downs, a lot of 3 and outs. And unfortunately, they just haven't been able to get off the field. And you saw it for yourself, man. The offense is just very pedestrian. They don't have a lot of people that scare you at the receiver position.
Right.
The running game is still not that dynamic. I mean, I wasn't impressed with the offense at all. And I think for me, that's why I haven't been so quick to say, like, Justin Fields, that's the guy. I still want to see a little bit more. Now, they're playing the Raiders this weekend. Prime opportunity for you to just finally kind of let him sling it. And I just didn't see enough offensively from the Steelers. That's a disappointing loss, but, it's still early. They're still tied for leading the division. That was a good win by Dallas, man. I got to give props.
Yeah, because they have an onslaught coming. I mean, you got.
Oh, yeah. This was one of them. This was one of those games. Right.
You got, I said it started with the Steelers. You got the Lions. You got the Niners. The Falcons after that. Then the Commanders. It's
Where's
like
the easy game at?
I think not until I don't know. We played the Panthers somewhere in between.
Oh, that's a win.
Yeah, it's in Carolina, but who cares?
Yeah.
Because like I said, I'm more confident for some reason with us on the road than I am at home.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? But yeah. So I mean, look, great win. I agree with you. Great win by Dallas, but it doesn't get any easier. From this point, they're gonna really have to.
Yeah, I mean, and they've quietly won
that grit that they showed in Pittsburgh.
They've quietly won their last 2. I mean, they're 3-2. I still don't think this is a 6-win team like some Cowboy people think. I still, now the Commanders are kind of throwing a wrench into things, right? Because I assume.
Listen, we got to give you props. You said they were going to be a playoff team.
Yeah, I thought they'd be a wild card team.
I don't know you didn't think they would probably win the division.
Not the division, no.
Yeah.
But I thought they'd be a wild card team.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I think if any team should be worried in that division right now, it's the Eagles. They got to really figure out. Sirianni could be another guy that's on the house. Now, I could see Belichick definitely going to Philly.
Okay. Gotcha.
Respected, one of the most well-ran organizations.
Right.
Great ownership, great GM.
Right.
I could see that.
How we just can't let him, just like I said.
I could see
that.
Best
advice is how we don't let him pick players. You do that.
And one thing about Belichick, whether you like his style or not, that's a disciplined guy. Like, you're not going to commit a bunch of dumb penalties. And
right.
And I think I still look. I'm a little hard on Jalen Hurts at times because I don't feel like he's been playing well, but I still think there's a lot of talent there, and I think Belichick could be the guy to come in. Sirianni's not the guy. He's not the guy.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I agree.
We'll see.
So you mentioned, as we were talking in this segment, you mentioned, last segment with the Jets. Who's the worst organization, the Jets or the Browns? I'm sorry, Kwab. I know we discussed this, I think, 2 shows ago. They got to bench Deshaun. He is completely...
Yeah, he's bad. He's really bad.
It's beyond... I don't even have words to explain how bad he's. I think I texted you during the game.
Yeah.
There were Browns fans in Washington here wearing brown bags. Remember, we used to clown them in college when we were like, dog, they're awful. They're getting back to that status. Like, I can't believe I would ever say this out of my words, but I think the Browns need to put Jameis Winston in.
He's not good, though.
I understand it, but Kwab, Deshaun Watson is awful. Like, it's... Dude, I watched that game against the Commanders.
Yeah.
Dude, first of all, I think he's also like quit on the team. He's given up. I'm sure you saw the play where Stefanski wanted to go for on a 4th down. He walked off the field.
No, there was some speculation that was a bit of a people didn't really see that the right way because apparently the play clock was about to run out and they had already kind of like called timeout, so he was walking back to the sideline. I'm not sure, but I guess a lot of people are saying like, oh, it's not what you think. But who cares? He's still not good.
No, horrible.
Yeah,
Like,
but I don't think Jameis is
he's
the
the
answer,
worst
though.
quarterback in the league. Like, I know we clown Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones been kind of balling.
Exactly.
He's been kind of balling.
Deshaun Watson is the worst quarterback in the league.
He's
Like,
the
I'm
worst
sorry.
quarterback in the
I know you
league
got to
right
bring
now.
up the contract, and they owe him like $90-something million. It's going nowhere. And the thing I feel bad for Fancy because I actually think because of this, his job is on the line. He might get fired because of all this, and it's really not his fault because I mean he's a 2-time Coach of the Year. You saw what Flacco did with that offense last year. And first of all, why would you let Flacco walk? He wanted to come back, and the same money you paid Jameis, Flacco's making with the Colts. So I'm not getting why.
Doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Flacco's playing well now. Yeah,
you talk about it all the time. It starts at the top with the Browns. This is why they're a bad organization. You gave this guy guaranteed money, the whole contract, and now he's horrible. He's awful. The worst quarterback in the league.
Yeah, and a lot of people may say, like, well, in hindsight, of course it looks bad. Like, it's easy to say that was a bad. Nobody thought this was a good deal from the start. Remember when we first saw this? We're like, what are they doing?
Yeah, fully guaranteed, like, your whole contract? Like, come on.
No.
Yeah, he's bad, man. No, it's and I'm sorry. Like, if you look at the players on the bench, even like the defense and other players, they know it. Come on, I can see it in their body. They know he's not the guy.
I do think Stefanski can survive this, though, because remember they were coming off a playoff season last year. 2 years before that, they won in Pittsburgh. I know that we're starting to get a little further from that, but that was still a very significant win for that franchise. I think he can still last another year. I'm not sold that they're going to move off.
But I feel like the owner is pulling the strings because obviously you heard the press conference when they asked him, "Hey, are you going to make a QB change, stick with Deshaun?" He said, "No, there will be no QB change. We're going to stick with him." I don't think that's him making that decision. I think that's coming from the top.
I don't think so.
I think they're saying, "Look, you're paying this guy $90-something million. You got to
play him. You got to play him. You got to make him work for that."
Yeah,
and we're past the point where we're like, oh, maybe he'll just get out of this funk. No, a funk usually lasts like a couple games.
Right.
It don't last a full season's worth of games. Come on, man.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're going on what, like year 2, 3? He's been doing this. Like,
he's not good anymore.
No.
Now, I know I've said Jameis isn't good either. Jameis can definitely bring some leadership qualities. He can bring some other things. I mean, he has a great arm. His decision making is not great, and that's the issue with Deshaun Watson. Well, Deshaun Watson just be like overthrowing guys. Like, well,
he also underthrows too. Sometimes he just throws it like into the ground. Like, okay, like I hear everything you're saying about Jameis. I just think Jameis is capable. Maybe not doing what Flacco did, but like he could be better than Watson. Dude, you can't get any worse than what he's playing right now.
He's playing really bad. He has one of the lowest QBRs in the league.
Well, they said in history.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's on historic bad pace. Like, like I agree with you on Jameis. Jameis is not the answer, but
definitely short term, if anything.
He's better than this, right? You just need him for like the rest of the season to maybe just get you even at 500. I think Jameis is capable of doing that. He did it in Tampa. They were like a 500 team when he was there. So I'm like, I mean, right now the way you're going, you're probably only going to win like a couple more games with Deshaun, and that's it. You're going to be like,
they're what are they 1-4 or
1-4?
Oh my god! So because they beat the Jags. That was it.
That was it. They still have to play you guys twice. They still have to play the Bengals twice. They still have to play the Ravens twice. That could be 6 losses right there.
They're gonna probably end up having like 5 or 6 wins this year. It's possible. It's possible. And the thing is, like, that's still a really talented defense. I know they don't have Nick Chubb, which is a big part of what they do. Mm-hmm. But the problem is still at quarterback because when Nick Chubb played last year with Deshaun Watson at quarterback, they still didn't look that great.
Yeah, no, they're a mess. I mean, I was watching that Commanders game, and I'm just like, they got it. They got it.
Commanders kind of nice though.
Oh, they're nice. They're nice. Yeah,
I cannot listen to what we just said. The Commanders are kind of nice. How many times since we've known each other have we said that?
Never.
I
didn't know you right because in high school when they had Brad Johnson, they were pretty a good team. I mean, 1 year with RG3, but it was
they were solid though. They were like good. They were cool.
And remember they had a couple years where they won the division, but it was like the division was like remember they won.
They were like 7-9 or something.
Yeah, with Hanky, whatever.
Heineke.
Heineke. Yeah, which I will give them props. They almost beat the Bucks the year the Bucks won the Super Bowl in that game. They were up.
That was a close game. That was actually one of the tougher games Brady had as a Buck. Like, yo, that was close.
Exactly. So I will give them that. But yeah, man, no, they look good, bro. Like
this is cool. This is cool. I'm a fan of this story. Now, there's still a lot of football to go, but they just, when you watch them play, they don't seem fluky. Like, yo, their quarterback has one of the highest completion percentages through 5 games in NFL history.
Well, dude, they're not just talking about him as rookie of the year. They're saying he's an MVP candidate.
Yeah. He's damn near flawless, man. He's a
good I will say I am happy that they finally found they haven't had a quarterback since I've been watching football.
What's the last time they had? I mean, that 1 year with RG3, they had a QB.
Right, but then he got hurt. You know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, no, man. I think, barring injury, knock on wood, that they finally have found their franchise, like a decade. This is going to be a decade. You know what I mean?
With them, it's about more than just Jaden Daniels, though. I mean, like we talked about earlier, they've had a whole complete restructure. Like Snyder's out, they got a brand new head coach, new GM,
new owner.
Yeah, man.
The only concern I do have with them is that, and Dan Quinn's going to have to, kind of fix it, but they don't really have the star power. Is the defensive side of the ball. They're
not great. They're not great, but you have a guy who knows how to coach a defense up. So
right.
I think that could get better throughout the season. I think over the last few weeks it has gotten a little better.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's you can take a lot of the playing the Browns because of how bad Deshaun is. Yeah, you know what I mean? to judge like, they're getting better because they're just awful offensively.
They're terrible.
They're terrible, bro. But
I'm so glad I'm not a Browns fan. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, it just must be like so frustrating because they've had the years where they've improved, and you're thinking like, okay, now we're finally going to get out of that, bad aura that we're known for being bad, and we'll have some years where we're pretty good, at least competitive.
Right.
It's like now they're going back to that stat, that hey, yeah, we're the brown paper Browns again. It's like, dude, it's not a good look. Not a good look. Mm-hmm.
So
moving on. All right, and then I bring this guy, but I don't know what you're going to say. Yes. Let me just say this. The Broncos have won 2 in a row. The last 2 in a row, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, there was an incident on the sidelines this past Sunday. Bo Nix and Sean Payton kind of got into it. And he also got into it with his assistant coach. He made the comment saying that, well, we got to get the Ferris Bueller out of Bo Nix.
What year is this?
And I was like, first of all, I've never been a Sean Payton guy. I think he's one of the most overrated coaches.
Also, I've never been a Ferris Bueller guy. Overrated.
Oh, the movie? Yeah. I mean, I can't remember the last time I've seen it, but
overrated.
I'm not a Sean Payton guy. I don't like how. So this is what proves to me that he was the issue and it wasn't Russell. Now, granted, Russell didn't play well, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Sean Payton made it worse by how he treated Russell. Because he's treating these dudes like they're like college kids. This is not college, bro. You're talking to grown men. So you can do all that huffing and puffing. And you saw Bo Nix kind of went back at him and the assistant coach. Like, you can't talk to people like that. Like, yeah, you have a certain cachet. Yes, you won a Super Bowl. I get that. Which has been obviously long ago. It wasn't recent. It's been a while since you won the Super Bowl. And granted, even when Breeze left, you had some competitive Saints teams. They didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, they were like cool.
They were cool. They were competitive. They were like middle of the pack or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I'm just not. I don't think. Ultimately, I don't think he's the guy that's going to turn this thing around. I just don't. I don't see. Mm-hmm. I think Bo Nix has a future and can be.
Yeah, show some flashes for sure.
And because I also like the Broncos defense. Their defense is awesome.
Surtain is having a great year.
Oh yeah, because he just got paid too, so he's definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue he's the best corner in the league.
I was going to say that. I might agree. Yeah, but yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not a big Sean Payton guy. Like that didn't surprise me, but it did prove that from last year with Russell that he might have been more of the problem than Russell was. Now, like I said, granted, Russell didn't play like they expected him to play
level. Yeah.
Even though he didn't have a bad year, I think he had with 26 touchdowns, 8 picks.
Mm-hmm.
But I just looked at that when I saw that on Sunday. I'm just like, see, this is exactly why I don't mess with this guy. But what are your thoughts on Sean Payton?
Yeah, so a couple of things I want to address. So you had mentioned that you can't talk to grown men like that, right?
Right.
Today, because remember, in the old school NFL, Yeah, you had your Bill Parcells, like you had these like old school, like your Bill. Now Bill Cowher was a little different because he was a players coach, but he wouldn't really get in his players' faces. But like
No,
these
he used
like
to make like faces, or he give you like a look.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
But
it wasn't like he
yeah,
got
like you're like Mike Ditka was a get in your face kind of guy.
right.
That there was a time in the NFL where that was okay. It was just accepted. It's not now. Now the culture is players coach. You hear that a lot.
Right.
Oh, Mike Tomlin's a players coach.
Right.
Because you want your coach to be a disciplinarian, but you also want them to be respected by your players. So you have to find like that. Like,
but let's keep it real, Kwab. Ain't no Steeler players walking up to Mike Tomlin yelling at him.
Right. That's because he's gotten their respect.
Certain guys have that aura, have that cachet. Mm-hmm. Like you're not walking up to them and just yelling
because he's not doing that to them. So
right. Yeah. Vice versa. Right. He's a players coach. He's obviously in tune with the players. But even if a player, I'll give you an example. George Pickens on Sunday seemed like he was very frustrated.
Yeah.
When we were at that game against the Chargers, he seemed like he was kind of frustrated.
Kind of a diva.
Yes. But you never saw him getting Mike Tomlin's face like, hey, give me the ball. I need to get the ball. Because he knows he's not, certain guys, just not to do that way, even though they're players coaches. But it just seems like with Sean Payton, he's always getting into, so today, I was just watching today, Drew Brees is on Cowherd, and they, mentioned the situation. And even Drew Brees brought up, like, yeah, it was a couple times, me and him went back and forth. Like, he's known for talking to players like that. And he said certain players, right, like you said, were able to take it, no problem. But certain guys weren't, hey, I'm a grown man. I'm not a kid, And
it's just, like I said, it's not today's NFL. Like, that's not really like a thing. That's not like coach, like organizations don't bring you in to be that old school kind of coach. Like, it's not like these are different types of players. I'm not saying you can't be, you can't pull a player aside and talk to them, but you don't yell at them and do that on national television. Like that's not a good look on you as a coach, on the player, or on the organization in general. So I say all that to say, like, Sean Payton, unfortunately, is just an old school guy in a new school NFL. I think Sean Payton's a good coach. I think he's a good creative mind. Although I'm wondering if a lot of his like offensive concepts are kind of like outdated at this point.
Right.
Yeah, but
their strong side of their strong side of the ball in the team is the defense. It's not the offense. Not to say Bo Nix is not, he's had his games, or he's shown flashes that he can play. But let's be honest, the strong side of the ball is the defense. Like that's what I mean, dude. They held. I know we bring up the Jets again. They held the Jets to 9 points. I think they held. They held the Raiders to 13 points.
The Jets really lost at home to the Broncos, and the defense allowed. What
10 points?
10 points,
right? 10 points.
But
really, I didn't hear 7 points because remember one was it was a field goal.
I didn't hear anybody get on Rodgers either.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's to your point saying, well, his offense may be outdated. Yeah, because you're the head coach. Your side of the ball is supposed to be the strong point. The opposite side of the ball is the strong point. It's the opposite with Saleh. When Saleh is the head coach, his side of the ball is the strong point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, I don't think when it's all said and done, I think Sean Payton, I think this is going to be like a 3-year kind of thing. And I
don't think they'll fire him, though. I think he'll be there till he wants to leave. He's older. Yeah, I don't see them firing him. I just think there's a certain
success or even getting into the playoffs. You don't think they're going to be like, well, we're not really getting results.
I think if anything, it would be like a mutual parting.
Gotcha.
I think when you would like the I'm not saying that you can't get fired as a former Super Bowl champion. Like, yeah, that can still happen, but I just feel like that organization will find a way to like, hey, we're thinking of parting ways. We don't want to like fire you. I think there's a certain level of respect they have for him. And I don't necessarily see that happening. And once again, they're actually kind of playing all right now. So maybe
but I think a lot of that is due to the defense. I mean, the defense looks great. You know what I mean?
Right. But overall,
defense. Overall, they're not lighting it up like on the scoreboard.
No, they're not. But the most important thing is getting the win. I don't really care how you win.
Definitely. Well, listen, I'm a Cowboy fan. I took that Sunday.
Like the Steelers win the loss looks worse. And you want to criticize a lot more about the loss because they didn't. Obviously because they lost. Like if they would have won the game, I'd be like, yeah, they did this well. You like to highlight the things teams do well when they win, right?
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, and people forget they weren't like they didn't look good on the field last year, but I think they still finished the season 8-9. Like they weren't like a 6-win team or anything like that.
Right, and that's why I say, going back to what I said, is like they put all this blame, everything was on Russell Wilson, right? Russell Wilson played bad. But hey, I'm not the best at math, right? But when you looked at his stats, right, and you're like, wait a minute, so if Russell was the problem, he had 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Okay, so that's pretty good numbers. And then you look at, obviously the result, their record. So the QB played pretty solid. He wasn't blowing you away, but he played.
No, he wasn't good. Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah. He wasn't the main issue. No,
exactly. So it's just hard for me when they try to kind of put all the blame on him. And I can understand if he had a season where he's throwing 10 touchdowns, 15 picks, or something like that. Okay, then he may be the problem. But Russell Wilson, by all accounts, and how we judge QBs, he had a decent to good season. You know what I mean? So
I think the other issue too was it didn't get off to like Russell Wilson wasn't Sean Payton's type of guy. Like he wasn't like I remember one of the things he said when he first got that job is like, you're not running for president. Like you don't need to hold all these babies and kiss these babies. Like that's not, like be a little more stern, a little tough. Like Russell's personality, Russell's definitely kind of Hollywood.
Oh, of course.
Which I'm not saying. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but like that's not Sean Payton's thing. He wants and Russell Wilson's also known to have a great like work ethic. Like he's a playbook guy, so he wants not only a playbook guy, but he doesn't want his quarterbacks involved in all these like, oh, he was on the red card. Nah, he's just like, you're too nice.
Right.
From the jump, it wasn't his match.
Right. So you just saying from the jump, you knew it kind of wasn't going to work.
It wasn't going to work.
Right. I got you.
Now Tomlin runs a culture where he lets players show their personalities. Now, your Big Ben.
But they're also not challenging him, or I'm not. And obviously nobody's walking over Sean Payton, but they don't. You've never heard of any incident where like Tomlin's gotten into it with a player.
No, I'll even
with AB, his crazy ass, you would have thought he would be the one to kind of be like, okay, yeah, him and Tomlin are going to get into it.
So Tomlin was on the pivot. It was probably like last year, but he talked about AB, and he was like, man, they were saying like, man, AB is going crazy, man. Like, what do you think of everything? And you expected Tomlin to be like, yeah, I don't really want to talk about AB, but he's like, look, man, I'm always going to have respect for that dude because he was a 6th round pick. He worked his ass off. Like nobody worked harder than that dude. He came to work every day on time, stayed late, with the last dude off the practice field. Like he was a great father. Like I'm always gonna have respect for that dude. It's unfortunate how things have kind of unfolded after that. Right. Yeah, he's about the players performing on the field, on the practice field. That's what he's all about. And like AB has said the same thing about Tomlin. Like I'll always have a lot of respect for that guy. So that's why Tomlin's been there so long. You combine Tomlin with a great organization. I mean, Tomlin ain't ever getting fired. We hear about it all the time.
He speculates and get fired every year.
If anything, it would be like Tomlin wants to move on, and I think we're closer to that than people might think. I mean, he's been there for a while.
Right.
But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right, before we move on from the NFL, just some quick things. Obviously, there was a lot of breaking news today.
Yeah.
One of the things that broke is Drake May will now be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, I saw that.
What are your thoughts? Do you think is this the right time to kind of throw him in there and put him in, or should they kind of go with Brissett maybe for a little bit longer? Obviously, we knew he was going to be a bridge quarterback, but 5 games in, is it too early, or do you think this is the right move by the Patriots?
When you're 1-4, from what I believe they are right now, when you're 1-4, their offensive line is a mess. So not a great look from that perspective if you're talking about putting a young quarterback back there. But I think what a lot of organizations are doing now is, remember, they're not really sticking with these first-round picks as long as they used to. Like, if they don't see anything from you in a year or two, they may move off of you. So I to say, I think they want to see a decent sample size from Drake May, right? Like you want him to play a double-digit amount of games. Let's see what we really have. Like, are we going to be able to build an organization around this guy? Because if you go into next season and you've never seen him play a regular season game, you might still be like, well, I mean, do we know about this dude? I think you put him in now. Let's see what he has. He's going to make some plays. He's kind of raw, but he's going to make some mistakes. Of course, he's a rookie, but I think we're actually going to be a little surprised here. I think he's going to be able to kind of move the ball. He has a good arm, pretty athletic dude. I think we're going to be a little pleasantly surprised by this. So Yeah, I think it's the right move. See what you got heading into the 2025 season because their season's over. And I got
Yeah, and I also like Gerard Mayo as a coach. I think
yeah, I do.
he's the right guy to deal with this and manage it. I mean, look, the Patriots are a great organization. So I mean,
they're very patient.
They are right with Robert Kraft, and then, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
Gerard Mayo. I'm a big fan. I think he can be sort of like a D'Amico Ryans. He doesn't have the talent D'Amico Ryans has, obviously.
No,
but,
he doesn't.
You give him talent and you give him players that can obviously get it done. I think you're going to see a D'Amico Ryans type kind of situation.
Yeah, and maybe Drake May is his CJ Stroud. Like maybe he'll find that this is his guy. Now they got some other thing. First of all, they never have good receivers anymore. Like what is up with them?
I know.
Why don't they call Devontae? Now Devontae, I'm sure he wouldn't be thrilled to go there.
No, he wouldn't.
But he's not like he has a no trade. I mean, if he gets traded there, he has to play.
Right. Exactly.
They just don't have any playmakers there. Like they got to figure that whole thing out, man.
Yeah,
like, their defense is going to be fine. Every year, their defense is like solid.
Yeah.
Just offensively, they just nobody's scaring you. Ramondre Stevenson is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Like who are the receivers? Who?
And with the Neal, is Henry still there?
Once again, you're making the right? Like they don't have any. Yeah, your Devontae.
And you used to say this even since from college days. They never draft a receiver. Like,
they don't draft
a receiver. They always get it through trade or free agency.
Or they'll get them underdog dudes. I hate those guys.
Yeah, like they got Wes Welker. Yeah, but they got those from like trades and
Edelman. Yeah, Wes Welker. Came from Miami.
Well, Edelman, they did draft, right?
I'm saying is they'll draft those underdog, those late draft.
Yeah, Deion Branch.
Yeah, but they have not drafted receivers well at all.
No,
your N'Keal Harry's and your
yeah. I mean, hopefully, like I said, look, Belichick's not there anymore. They actually have like a real not a GM will be able to do his job. Right. I think they have a good culture there. Like I said, I like Gerard Mayo. Robert Kraft's a great owner. I think they'll get it. They'll get it turned around.
Yeah, this isn't going to be one of those like they're bad for 8 years. No, they're not the Jets. They're not the Browns. They'll probably be bad for like a couple of years. I think they'll be good.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think they'll be good.
Yeah. All right, so moving on from football. So you sent me an interesting text me this interesting thing today. So the NBA had this GM survey.
Yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on some of their predictions. I mean, at the NFL, the NBA season is just 2 weeks away. So
I know, that's crazy. I didn't realize it starts on the 23rd.
Yeah, first of all, the NBA offseason be like a month, and it's back already. All right,
exactly. So I did look at it. Now I'm probably gonna get more your take on it because I know
that's fine.
There's a lot of interesting picks. I mean, when I saw some of the picks, nothing really jumped out and surprised me. Like they had Victor Wembanyama, who you started a franchise with. I can see that, right? They had, I think, the Oklahoma City Thunder being the best team, which they were last year.
Yes, it's kind of like these aren't like shocking.
Yeah, they had like Shea winning the MVP. He was in the MVP running last year.
I think he finished second. Yeah,
exactly. So they had Giannis as the best power forward. It was some of them were obvious. Okay, like none of this is shocking.
Yeah,
breaking news. You know what I mean? I will say it's interesting that they have a whole GM survey for this and then release it to the public to see.
Yeah, they do this every year.
Yeah, like what they think, because I've never seen one before. I mean, I'm sure they do this every year, but I've never seen one before. But I guess really to get more of your thoughts, like I said, nothing really jumped out and surprised me. Like they had Anthony Edwards as the best shooting guard. You know how big I am on Anthony Edwards. So
not shocking.
I agree with that. Yeah, it wasn't like a lot of shocking things. Like, oh yeah, like they had who was the biggest trade? Right, Karl Anthony Towns. Who's going to have the biggest impact? Paul George. Like, well, yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, what other answer are you going to give? So, yeah, I guess I could get your thoughts more of what you thought.
I think what was interesting to me is the team that will win the finals, the 2025 finals, and it was 83% Celtics.
Yeah, that's surprising. Yeah. I mean, they're defending champs.
Yeah, they are. I thought 83% was a little high.
Okay, so maybe the percentage was high.
Because you got to remember, before this season, and me and you can attest to this, like, that was one of them we don't trust them organizations.
That's true. That's true.
We're like,
so you know what's funny? I got to stop saying I don't trust organizations.
No, the Nuggets.
The last two organizations I haven't trusted, remember the year the Nuggets won, I was like, I don't trust them. They won it. I was like, I don't trust Boston. They won it. So every time I don't trust a team, just know, Kwab, they may win a championship.
Please tell me you don't trust the Lakers.
Then it's not good. I mean, I don't trust them. I don't think they're gonna do anything. I mean, I'm
So how
sorry.
about this? You don't trust the Knicks. Although you say,
Okay, all right. So the Knicks are interesting. I don't trust them. I just think I don't know if the Knicks have enough. Now,
you don't think so?
Cat
No?
is going to be big, right? Well, I don't like how Thibodeau runs the rotation. I mean, he only plays like 7 to 8 guys. And remember,
Right.
like one of the criticisms of the Knicks last year was that he was like tiring his guys out. Like they ran out of gas.
Yeah.
So that's my concern with them. It's not that I don't trust them because they know they ball. Like when they play, first of all, Madison Square Garden may be the best arena in all of the NBA.
If anybody listening to this pod has not, I mean, it's hard to get to New York City, and especially our West Coast listeners. It's one of the coolest places to experience a game.
Yeah, man. No, it's awesome. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. It is the mecca.
It's awesome.
It's the
especially
mecca.
When the Knicks are good. I mean, getting a ticket now is going to be damn near an arm and a leg. Yeah,
but that's my thing with the Knicks. It's not that I don't trust them because they have the talent. They've shown they can beat whoever. To be honest, they can.
Yeah, they can.
With the best of them, but Thibodeau's rotations and just him as a coach, I don't know. Now I may not trust him. Maybe that's the case.
But you do like him as a coach, or you're like
I do. He's more of a D guy. Like he's all about defense.
Yeah,
I don't really know if he concentrates much on the offensive side. Even though they were good on the offensive side, they were fine. You know what I mean? Because they kind of did their own thing. Because I like watching them sometimes. I felt like they didn't run plays. They just came down like, all right, your turn.
Give the ball to Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, everything goes to Jalen Brunson, and if he can't get the shot out, all right, Josh, you take the shot. David Chandler, you take it. You know what I mean? It wasn't a lot of like, set plays. Like he's more of a defensive focused guy. Like I said, Cat's gonna definitely help. I mean,
I think Cat's gonna help.
And Mikal Bridges is gonna help. Because Mikal Bridges is a perfect player for Thibodeau because that's what he most is like. Bridges is one of the best defenders in the league, so like that's perfect for them because he's gonna be the guy that guards like the tough player, the best player. You don't have to then ask like Josh Hart, Brunson to really exude energy on the defensive side.
And even Cat is a highly improved defensive player too.
Yes, he is.
So they're going to be really good defensively.
Right. I think they're going to be a really good period. But again, I don't know if I trust Thibodeau when it comes to down the stretch. I'm not saying I don't trust him in big games because they've won games. It's just I think how he does his rotation with players, it affects them in the long run.
Do you say they're title contenders?
Yes. At least they should be. If you don't think they are, they should be. Just from the roster, from a player standpoint, yeah, they should be. But again, I just hope Thibodeau starts to play more of a rotation, so to give guys, breathers where they're not running out of gas at the end. That's my only criticism with them.
And I'll tell you what, man, like they got a lot of good players. Like besides Brunson and Cat and like great role player like Josh Hart, Bridges, like Anunoby, like they have some man. Like,
they have talent. It's all over.
It's exciting. It's cool for the NBA when the Knicks are relevant.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, to be honest, I haven't really been a fan. The Bulls were like my team because of Jordan, but and I was a fan of Melo more. But I would say, as of right now, the Knicks are kind of like the team I root for. To do well. Like I want them to, at least make the finals.
I know a team you don't trust, and which could be a good sign for their fans if they're listening to this. You don't trust the Sixers.
I don't.
Which is good. This is good.
Joe's gonna love this. Like
because they've also got a lot of talent. They've also got a lot of talent
because they can't get past the second round. I don't get it.
Well, Embiid is going to get hurt. Well, he always gets hurt. But I don't know if you saw his media day press conference, but he talked about how the goal this year is to I need to be healthy for the playoffs. Mm-hmm. He doesn't care about MVP. He's like, I've won MVP. Like I've made an all-star team.
Right.
So it kind of sounds like they're going to do like a heavy amount of load management, which I guess you can't do anymore. But I think for them, they're like, well, whatever. We want Embiid ready to go for the playoffs.
Right.
So
I got it.
I think this is going to be one of them. Embiid is he's hurt. Because
you're right. I don't trust the Sixers, but that, like you said, that might be a good sign. I will say it's another team I don't trust, but it's because of their head coach. I don't trust Doc Rivers, but that's not breaking news. Like, sorry, Kahar. Shout out to our boy Kahar, who's a Bucks fan. But yeah, I don't trust Doc Rivers, and that I will not be wrong about.
No, you ain't gonna be wrong about that.
No, that is gonna be. I'm gonna prove my point with that. So, yeah. But before we move on, quick thoughts. What do you think are the Lakers' outlook this year?
I mean, did they get better? Like, how did the Lakers
Yeah,
get better? Right.
Well, you know what? And to mention that, I just want to say I thought it was a very cool moment. You know, obviously we've never seen it with LeBron and Bronny on the same court.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, that was.
I mean,
cool.
you got his dad is the GOAT. That's really cool.
I don't know about that. He's second, but anyway, that's another conversation another day.
He's the GOAT.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, I think the Lakers are gonna be battling for a play-in. And it sucks. Like, come on, you can't be better than a play. I gotta watch the play-in. Come on, man. Like, yo, like get like a 5th seed. Like, all right, cool. They're the 5th seed. Ooh, they're the 4th seed this year. But I think the problem is the West is stacked.
It is.
Like,
and I think the Grizzlies will be better because the Ja's healthy. The Grizzlies will be better.
Now the Clippers are gonna. I don't think the Clippers are gonna be that good. They're gonna fall off.
Nah, they're gonna fall off. But I think like who's another team I think will be improved. I think the Kings had that good year, then they kind of fell.
Yeah, they kind of fell off. That was weird.
I think they'll be better this year. So
but they only finished the game below the Lakers last year. So like, I don't know what happened with them. Like that was kind of because De'Aaron Fox didn't really get like hurt, and Sabonis didn't either, right? So,
no, not really. So I don't know what happened.
Are you a fan of their coach? Are you a Mike Brown guy?
Hurt, who was big, who was kind of unsung here from the Malik Monk got hurt.
Yeah, Malik Monk is a good player.
He was out like most of the season.
Are you a Mike Brown guy?
Not really. No.
Well, he made that team pretty.
Like anytime I watch him on the sidelines, he just looks like he is not doing a clueless. And obviously, they call him Mr. Potato Head. Like he has his mouth open. I'm like, because first of all, I don't think he's an X and O's guy at all. Because I remember a clip. It went viral when he was with the Cavs, and LeBron when he went into the huddle, he let like LeBron they were running the thing. It was like his assistant coach was doing the. Like, yo, are you gonna do it? He was just standing there. Like, dog, you're the head coach. Like, yeah. So
yeah. But you know what though? He's made that organization like a pretty good young team. Like, remember like you said, the year before.
Oh yeah, definitely relevant.
They were the 3 seed the year before.
Oh, but they got DeMar DeRozan, so that's improvement.
That's a good pickup. So you're right. So they're going to be better. I don't think the Clippers are going to win.
I agree with you on the Clippers. I mean, the
Nuggets are not going to win 51 games. No,
the Timberwolves will still be good. And I mean, you just switch out Julius Randle with Cat, they're still going to be good.
Yeah, they'll be good.
The Mavs, getting Clay, we'll see how that works, but I think they'll be a playoff.
Yeah, the Mavs will be good. They'll be very good.
Yeah. So you're right. It is stacked. So I don't know. And then listen, man, even though Houston's a young team, they don't have like a lot of like star
they were playing well down the stretch.
They are, man. That's why listen, I know Ume Udoka had his issues, with the Celtics.
He's a good coach.
But he's a great coach, bro.
He's a good coach.
I mean, you're talking about with the Rockets won like 15 games the year before. They was in the playoffs last year. You know what I mean? So
I think my issue for the Lakers is just depth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they have a pretty good starting lineup. Like, I'm not a big D'Lo guy.
Right.
He's just too inconsistent. Like, one game, Russell will give you 25, then he'll give you like 8. It's like, come on, man. Like,
he's been his whole career, though.
He's always been
maybe the exception when he was with, like, Minnesota. When was he an all-star? With Brooklyn or Minnesota?
Yeah, I think it was with Brooklyn.
Yeah, that was the only year I remember him being, like, kind of consistent. Yeah. Oh, he's actually consistent. But other than that, he's been inconsistent everywhere he's been. Golden State, Minnesota, the Lakers.
I also don't think Golden State's gonna be that good.
Yeah, they're just old. I'm sorry.
I mean, they have Steph and who else? Like that you can trust. That you can like trust offensively. Wiggins? I'm not trusting Wiggins, bro.
Right. And Draymond, no.
And guys, that's why I said offensively.
You're right. Nah. Yeah, you're right. I
don't think they're going to be that good.
They'll take a step back again.
But yeah, the Lakers, like, they didn't really do much to get. I mean, now they got a new coach. So people could argue that they're going to get better that way.
Right. We'll see, though.
We'll see.
I wasn't a big fan of the JJ Hire thing, but
yeah, I'll give him a shot.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Now, I can already say this. I already like his rotations in the preseason better than I liked Darvin Ham's. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But moving on, man. So I got a text from you the other night. Matter of fact, the night that we, the Cowboys and Steelers were playing, and at first when I read it, I'm like, what? Why is she texting me this? But
I'll send random texts.
But then I thought about it more like, oh, that's actually a pretty good question. That's really good. So Kwab posed a question. We're talking about music now. Who had a better career? Was it Amerie or Maya? I had text back. I said when I, just on the whim thought about it, I'm like, well, they kind of had similar careers. Like
Right.
probably both have one good album, really good album that, and then they've had that one song that like blew up, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Although you could argue Maya has like quite a few hits though. Like I don't think she's a one hit wonder.
yeah, no, but I think Amerie has had them. I mean, she has. Well, I mean,
We got like two songs. Amerie got two
Why Don't We
big
Fall in
hits.
Love, right?
And one thing.
And one thing, yeah, you're right. So I guess Maya, you give Maya a little bit of this because Maya probably has about 3 or 4.
Yeah,
songs.
but here's my argument for Amerie. I think one thing was bigger than anything Maya had.
I agree. So I agree. Yeah.
But I guess like the better career.
See, like Maya's still performing. Now she may not be as relevant, but she's still like performing. I don't know what Amerie's doing.
Well, I think Marie's legit like not performing anymore. Like I don't think like things went really well for her and her label. Like I think there's there's like a story behind Amerie.
Well, I don't know if you heard the story with Maya too. So Maya has, and she said this on several interviews that, one of the reasons that she like kind of didn't blow up or left the spotlight was because, the labels and people wanted her to do stuff that she wasn't comfortable doing. And she kind of was like, "No, I'm not going to do that."
Yeah.
So
I respect her for that. Like
I do.
All about her.
But again, that's happened. She's still performing places. She's still like, even like certain music festivals, you see, Maya's performing. Like, so she's still, she's not coming out with new music, but
I think she actually still is. I mean, it's not like, I don't know if it's like an independent label, so it's not really getting promoted unless you're like on her social media page and you'll see it. But
you're right. I will say that I think overall, Maya's had the better career. But the one thing, Maya's never had a song like One Thing.
Because she had like Case of the X. That was a big song.
That was a big song, right. Move On.
Yeah, moving on. But One Thing was like a club banger.
Oh, yeah. Big. I mean, that was like a number one song, like in the world.
Well, we know some people that thought it was stupid. The coworker me and Darian used to have at the bookstore at UNLV, she was like, "That song's stupid." I'm like, "Stupid? What do you mean stupid?"
Like, I mean, it's a club song. It makes you want to dance. It had like 1,000 remixes. Remember, like everybody, it was like 10 remixes. I'm like, okay, I was getting tired of the remix. Like everybody's just jumping on it. We gotta, but I would just say like to me, they still have had similar careers because, Maya had like maybe the better, more songs that are more like we know and. The album's better. Then Amerie had the one. Even though, like I said, Amerie had like I liked Why Do We Fall in Love. Even in that the album that Why Do We Fall in Love was on, I liked that album, and I like the album.
Yeah. And the album Touch with One Thing was a really good album.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, I don't want to just be on here like kind of trashing Amerie, but I think they've had similar careers. I just think one is kind of, like you said, gone from the spotlight. She's not making music anymore, not performing. And one is like still performing, but I guess making new music, but still performing her hits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd probably give the edge to Maya, like a slight edge.
Yeah, I agree.
From now on this podcast, we're going to do like a random question before. Question of the week.
I know. It was so random. Yeah.
Now, I do have one other question about them too, because... obviously, they're known for being musicians, but they're both known for their beauty as well.
Oh yeah.
He said, "Oh yeah." I wonder who men would vote as the more beautiful artist between the two, because that's a close call too.
We have to do a poll. I mean, women, listen, you're welcome to join too.
No. When I'm asking that, it's all women, men. It doesn't matter.
I mean, obviously, we would like to see the men, but may have to put a poll up.
Also, like that's kind of tough to like. How do you ask that question? Who's prettier? I don't want to disrespect. They're both beautiful.
But... yeah, they both are. I mean,
that's also.
I don't know if I'm allowed to tell the story of college how you felt about Maya. I mean, we know.
I don't think this is a secret. People know that. I mean,
so all right. So let me tell a little story. I had a King magazine. I bought a King magazine, right? Maya was on the cover. Now,
well, even the game talked about that cover.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. It's one of the greatest King covers I've ever seen. It was epic. Right?
Yeah, it was. It
was. To be honest, I bought it for that reason. I saw it. I said, "Oh, I'm buying that."
You didn't care what the issue was about. You just bought it.
I had it for a little while, and then one day the cover was gone, and I was like, "Where?"
No, hold up, man. Hold up. This is making me sound crazy.
Well, I didn't take the cover. I didn't just give you the cover.
No, but like it wasn't like you came in your room and the cover was like ripped off. I think I like yo, I'm gonna because back in college like you hang stuff up on your wall. Like we had posters. I was like yo, I want to hang this picture of Maya. I don't know why I hang it in my closet though. Like it was in my closet. I don't know why.
Yeah, it was in your closet, right? So okay, how I remember it was okay. Yes, you're right. I came home. I think you know how I used to go in your room and say what's up, we'll talk. I think I saw it and I was like, oh. I was like, and I knew a Maya thing. I didn't make a big deal out of it. I was just like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, he does love Maya like that. So I saw it in your closet, and then I think I went to my room and I'm like, oh, he took the.
See, man, is this accurate? I don't remember. Maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe no. I'm not.
I don't know. Was June or was it that Chris was living with us? They're the only ones that can really verify.
Well, this is when we lived in Henderson, which was. Well, I guess both of them lived in Henderson too.
Yeah, so they're the
I think it was Chris. I think it was when we lived with Chris.
Yeah, so Chris is the only one I can really verify, but that's how my recollection, what I remember. But yeah, anyway, granted, I'm not getting on you because it was a great.
I can confirm that I did have the King issue on my wall. Now I think a lot of people are gonna Google like, "Yo, Maya King issue, what was that?" But yeah,
right, yeah. But no, she was, but Amerie was beautiful too. She was, I mean, that one thing video, she looks good in a couple videos, like the one thing, the Why Do We Fall in
general.
People forget about the song she did with Fabulous. Remember that song with her and Fabulous?
She had a song with. Did she have a song with LL too?
She did.
Oh, yeah. That's a banger, Paradise. That's a banger.
Yeah, and she had a song with Fabulous.
Hold up. So does career include features? Because I don't know. That might be Amerie.
Yeah. Then
although Maya had that Beanie Man.
That's a big song.
That's a banger.
That's an international song. Because it's reggae. So, yeah, man. But they've had. That's what I'm saying. They're very similar. They're very close. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. You bring back memories of that King magazine cover. Ooh, yeah, that was. I know when I bought it.
Yeah, that was pretty epic. Epic.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Before we get out of here,
by the way, I see you repping the Golden Knights. Props to you.
Yeah, man. Vegas.
That's right, baby. Hockey season. See, people
I'm
say
not a big hockey guy. I mean, I probably watch highlights. I'm more getting into it when the playoffs start. But I guess secretly I'm like a closet, Knights fan. I would like I said, I've really never been into hockey. When I did watch it, I was rooting for the home team, New York Rangers, and I still do. I still hope they always do well. Mm-hmm. And it's been cool that I've seen them and the Knights in my lifetime win a Stanley Cup. The Rangers haven't won since 90-something, but
yeah, props to the Knights too, because the Knights did it early,
right? Yeah. Exactly. So
they're good every year.
They're
good every year. Yeah.
So it's good that I've seen them both win a chip, in my lifetime. But yeah, man, I for some reason, like Vegas is always gonna have that. I'm kind of even an Aces fan. I like the Aces. I'm an Aces fan.
Yeah, I mean Vegas is the city of champions, man.
It is, man.
Except for the Raiders.
The only team I don't root for is the Raiders, and because that's right. I mean, obviously they're getting the A's. I think next year, right? But yeah, I mean, going to school there, Vegas is my second home, so I don't just rep UNLV. I like other sports teams. I'm just happy that the city has. From where we started from, going to school there, to see the city now how it is, like, they're about to have every sports franchise. The only thing they don't have now is the NBA team, which is inevitable. That's coming. That's coming.
I think so, and they have the arena for it.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's coming. So I think. I mean, that's what I said. Quietly, I'm probably always gonna like a lot of the Las Vegas teams just because. It was like second home.
That's your other home, and my brothers are there, so you always got a crib,
No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. Sure.
Yeah, man. So, all right, really, before we get out of here,
the last before we get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Last before we get out of here. Your boy's turning 41. Got a birthday coming up on Thursday.
I was 40.
It's like it's gonna be like 41.
For real. What was like the highlight of 40?
The highlight of 40. I mean. Yeah. That's a great question.
Some 40 highlights.
All right, 40 highlights. Just I would say more personally, on a personal standpoint, just more evolving as a person, wisdom and getting older, like thought process, and you just knowing you're not the same person you were in your 20s, 30s. Like I think differently than and I move differently than I did when I was in my 20s. Like, I'm nowhere near where people used to call me Diddy back in the day. Please, and first of all, I don't want to be known that ever again, please.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But yeah, but I just think 40 really, just certain things just hit you. Like, obviously you're older. Like I said, I hope I'm more wiser, I've learned a lot, been on this earth for 40 years, but yeah, just different, evolved. I think being married, just trying to be a good husband, better husband, and you focus on that.
It's constant work, man.
Constant work, right? Besides my full-time job, that's my other job. Being a good husband, taking care of the household. So yeah, that's what 40's been like, and I believe 41 will be the same. It's just a year more, just continuing to evolve, continuing to be a better husband, or just a better person, and just still learning more, but evolving and trying to get wisdom, where now I try to share what I've learned over the years with people that are younger than me. Like, in my full-time job, I work with a lot of people that are younger than me. They're like in their late 20s.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy too? Like, we're getting to the point of our lives where like we're older than a bunch of our coworkers.
Right. So I think that's what I've learned as well, being 40, just giving a lot of wisdom to people, giving just game to people, like what I've experienced and what they'll experience down the road as they get older. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what pretty much I would say 40 in a nutshell has been.
Well, excited to celebrate you this weekend, man. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Looking forward. They're gonna have a night out with the fellas on Saturday.
Yeah.
We're gonna be in DC. It's funny. Even though I live in the DMV, I don't really go to DC a lot.
Right. Because it's not totally about 30 minutes from you.
Yeah. So obviously me and Kwab live in Maryland, but different parts. But yeah, me and my wife normally just hang out in Maryland, maybe go to VA. We'll come up and see you. But yeah, we don't go to DC too much. So it's just good to get out. But yeah, and also I'm hanging out with my birthday's actually on Thursday, so I'll be spending the day with wifey, doing some things, and then yeah, just happy to be off from work. And Friday, probably just keep it real chill, go out to dinner.
We're gonna relive one of your birthdays in your 20s drink wise. We're gonna get you.
Ooh,
that's the dangerous thing about birthdays. Everybody wants to buy you drinks.
I know, because I know it's like
hard to say no to a drink.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm worried about, because at this part of my life, I will say I'm not as big as a drinker as I was.
I don't feel like you really drink like that.
No. I don't. Like, I'm more, gummies kind of thing.
That's gonna be popping.
Oh, that's gonna happen too, right? Yeah, but I'm more like I like to just be mellow, chill, cool. I don't like to be. Yeah, when in my 20s, I was, in college, I was drinking, taking shots, wilding, whatever. But yeah, those days are definitely gone, past me. So
it was a good ride.
Oh, good run, great. I had one of the greatest runs, I think, in
Vegas history.
Vegas history, yeah. I had a good, yeah. I mean, really prime me was, yeah. I look back, I'm like, wow.
Well, our wives.
It was Hall of Fame type stuff. Where I should get a gold jacket.
Your name is in the rafters.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I did. So,
well, our wives can attest to this, but we reminisce about college all the time.
Oh yeah, they always look at us. We always have a lot of inside jokes. They look at us like, "What are they talking about?"
Yeah, it was a great time, man. Great experience.
It was. So. Yeah, but yeah, man. Next week is the 100th episode. Like Bob said, we got some big things popping for that. We may have some surprise guests. So yes, please tune in. Stay tuned. Look forward to that. Like I said, man, I can't believe we've done 100 episodes. This is crazy.
I know, man.
Where we started to where it is now. I mean, I'm very proud of this pod, the show, of how we created it, and we've kind of still done things on our own. And it can really just only grow and go up from here. So
yeah, and it's slowly evolving. We're on screen now. Yeah, I'm already thinking of the 1,000th episode.
That's crazy. Yeah, I know.
How old are we gonna be, Lord?
Like 60? I don't know.
It took 4 years to do 100. How long?
Yeah, so right. Yeah, exactly. It's gonna take a while, bro. Yeah, it's gonna take a while. So yeah, but
it's gonna be it's gonna look like PTI. Like, we're gonna be looking older. Like, dang.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, I know we don't talk about a lot of shows on there, but they need to retire too. Like, I've watched it a couple times, like in the last couple of years, Yeah, they're not as like quick as sharp. I'm just like, you know,
Yeah, I mean, look, there comes a time.
Every profession you got to hang it up at some point.
Like, I'm being real. It's gonna hit us hard, but there's gonna come a point in time where people watch our show like, yeah, y'all might have to. It's gonna be in the comments like, yeah, y'all have to hang it up. Like, oh damn.
Listen, and they may be right. I'm like,
I'm being real. I might cry though. That'd be sad. Like, dang, we need to retire. Hopefully, they don't say that. What if they say that now? Like, y'all need to retire. Like, oh damn.
Yeah, bro. Like, yeah, it's gonna get to that point. But listen, as my wife always says, everybody has their time, or great things come to an end.
But the great things are still going on. So we're good.
So we're living in the present, living in this moment. We're full steam ahead. Trying to make the show better. Like Kwab said, evolve it and making it just go up from here. So so please stay tuned next week for the 100th episode.
Yep.
Milestone. We're going to be doing a lot, as far as promoting it, as far as who we have on. Yeah. So definitely stay tuned.
For sure, man.
We'll do it again next week, bro.
Peace.
Peace.